One of the things that really bothers me is age discrimination. I don't care if it happens because you're old or because you're young. I hate age discrimination. Victor Hugo said, 40 is the old age of youth, 50 the youth of old age. I think he was right, but I think there's another problem. I think 20 is ancient for some of the people I talk to, and 20 is 3 years old for others. Some people never get it through their head that I am allowed to discriminate against you because you don't want to work as hard or because you have no experience. I have a real recent example that happened, it was a couple of years ago here in this area. A man was hired by the local Chamber of Commerce to be a salesperson. A year and a half later, he was fired. He sued for age discrimination because he was 87 years old. Now, all the accounts about this just say that the Chamber was sued for age discrimination. They don't say that the Chamber was sued by a man who they hired when he was 85. They just say they fired him when he was 87. The trouble that I see in my job with older workers is quite often they come to me and say, Brian, you know, I just lost my job. I'm tired of working 50, 60 hours a week. I may be paid well, but I'm tired of working that much. I want you to find me a job that pays the same because I'm worth it, but where I only have to work 35 or 40 hours a week. Oh, I'm willing to come in and make up the extra time and make it a full 40 hours a week, but I'll come in and do some self-learning or something like that. Well, I've got a clue for you. The reason in most cases people are paid an excessively high wage, much higher than anybody else in their group, is because they're darn good workers, because they're doing things, because they're making things happen that wouldn't happen otherwise. Most of the time when someone comes into me and says, Brian, I want the same pay, but I want to work less, I tell them no. Real simple, no. I tell them, you may luck out and be able to find a job like that, but I'm not going to go out and tell an employer, I have a great worker here who wants to work less. Would you like to hire him? I'm not going to do it. Now, in the youth, the same things happen. I get 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds who say, what I want is a job that pays $70,000 a year. And I say, great, let me get you one that pays $15 an hour. And they look at me and they go, who are you? I said $70,000 a year. I said $15 an hour. Let me give you an example of why this is important. This week I have interviews for two of my employees, not my employees, two of my candidates who are applying for a job doing something that they've only got training in. Now, they've in the past been very successful programmers, but they need to change what they're doing, and they are applying for a job, they're interviewing for a job that's going to pay $15 an hour instead of the $30 they're used to. They're taking a huge pay cut. Now, they've also both gone out and gotten certifications, the full Microsoft certifications for the programming they're going to do. That wasn't easy, and it wasn't cheap. But they're willing to also, in addition to spending the money, taking the time, they're willing now to go back to $15 an hour. What they know, and our dirty little secret is that in 2 years or 3 years, they're going to be back up to what they were earning before. That's just a fact, and they're willing to do it. They're old folks like me, about my same age. Interestingly, they're not afraid of being unskilled. They're not afraid of taking a lower paying job to get the skills they need to get a higher paying job. Unfortunately, I have a lot of people who would rather bust tables and work at McDonald's than use their college degree the way they meant it to be used, at the pay level they need to get experience. So what I'm trying to say is the biggest age discrimination that people have is the discrimination they foment against themselves. Sure, there are companies that won't hire you if you're too young. There are other companies that won't hire you if you're too old. I know them. I deal with them. Actually, usually I just tell them to go take a hike. I'm not going to work with them. Those companies exist. But in reality, even companies that say they won't hire somebody who's too old or they won't hire somebody who is too young, I have seen those companies hire somebody who's younger than they wanted or older than they wanted because they found someone who had the experience, who had the drive, who had the enthusiasm that they were looking for. This is Brian Diltz. My website is www.howtoreallygetagreatjob.com and www.agicc.com. Look forward to seeing you there. Bye.